Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. The last full moon of this year is here, and today I want to bring you some information about 5th dimension as well. 5D Earth is here as well, and I want to talk about this because some people are feeling kind of fear that they will be left behind when it comes to awakening of a higher level of consciousness. Some people think that if they will not do certain things, they will be left behind, because sometimes people are explaining things like that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And firstly, I want to remind you, as this is the last full moon of the year, it's time to release the past. It's time to let go of what is not serving your growth anymore. Later I will explain what it has to do with the 5th dimensional consciousness. So think about what could you change in your life to make it more meaningful, and what are the reasons that you're telling to yourself why you're not doing that already. You know, why you're not fulfilling your life, why you're not doing the things which are fulfilling you. What are the reasons in your mind that are like explaining you why you're not living your life to your full potentials. Many times we can find reasons like, I don't believe in myself, I don't trust that it's possible, my parents don't support my vision, or my partner don't support my vision, or you know, many times we can find different reasons about it. But the truth is that the only real answer is within us. And that's what is bringing us to the 5th dimension. So the 5th dimension is not a location, a space. We can only think about it from that 3rd dimensional consciousness where we experience everything as space and time. 5th dimension is a state of consciousness. It's a pure awareness of the present moment. And if we want to experience this 5th dimension, we need to start living our lives out of harmony rather than fear. And we can say, well, it's really hard to do because all the things that are happening around us, everything that is going on, it's hard to find harmony. And that's the challenge we need to overcome. That's the challenge we need to overcome. So rather than observing what is happening, find the good things. There's still nature, and nature is free. There's still your inner space, which is kinda unknown. We are still not masters of our internal space, right? Masters of the peace of mind. So we can explore it anytime. That's how we get to the harmony. Because in 5th dimensional consciousness, we recognize that reality is not what we see, but how we choose to feel about it, or how we choose to feel at the first place, and what we see will change. That's the 5th dimensional consciousness, and there are actually just two choices. We can choose to experience life out of fear, or we can choose to experience life out of love. And that's what also this full moon is bringing us. The zodiac sign of Gemini is bringing us the two parts of ourselves, the light part, the good part, the positive side, and the shadow side, which we could also call the negative side. Those are our fears, our deepest fears. Once we learn to embrace our fears, to do what we are afraid to do, for example, follow our dreams, follow our hearts, do what we are passionate about to do, even if people don't believe into us. Even if we can't experience any support in our external environment, we will still do it because we love doing that. That's when we decide to shift the fear into love. Because the thing is that once we learn to surrender to that greater consciousness or higher consciousness or the universal mind, we see that everything starts working for us, because the universe always conspires to make things happen for you. if you know what you want and if you do everything to the best of your abilities to make it happen. So every time when you sense fear about certain thing, go deeper into that fear. Why are you afraid at the first place? Is it because somebody told you something, somebody said something to you, or is it because you've read something on the news, on the media, or is it because you just don't trust into your abilities? Go deeper into it and ask yourself, what would love do at this moment? What would love do in that situation? Meditate on that and then go for a long walk into the nature and be with yourself and see how much the nature is actually healing you. And with each step you take, you're experiencing more clearance or more clarity about that issue that you're dealing with or a certain fear that you're overcoming. And then expressing gratitude. It always overcomes any need for safety. Once we start expressing gratitude for the things that we have, the things that are around us, we uplift ourselves onto the state of consciousness where we see nothing else but beauty. That's the fifth dimensional consciousness. That's the state from which we start manifesting results really fast, because now we are vibrating in that beautiful state of just beingness, being present and feeling good about that, appreciating the things that are around us. That's the 5D consciousness. So I'm telling you, 5D Earth is already here. It was always here, because everything is happening in the now. You can't be left behind. You can only decide not to uplift yourself. But that's when we decide to suffer, because life is all about changes. When it comes to changes, we need to be open for lessons. And if we are open for lessons, we are constantly learning and growing. And if we are constantly learning and growing, we are more aware. And when we are more aware, we see more details. When we see more details, we are more present. When we are more present, we feel better. When we feel better, we feel inspired. When we feel inspired, we feel creative. When we feel creative, we feel that urge to create. And when we feel that urge to create, we create because that's our mission. We are the creators at the first place. Each of us is the creator. Not just to follow something, but to create, to make beauty out of your life. And we can only do that once we decide to follow the love, not the fear, to surrender to love, not the fear, to find that inner guidance, which is guiding you into more love, and to recognize the oneness and unity within everything, everyone, everywhere you go, you find that unity. Of course, if we observe the world right now, we can find many people are disconnected from that unity, but it's not about to judge those people. Some people are lost right now, but it's not about to judge them, because from that greater state of oneness, we are not judging things as good and bad. We are observing everything and seeing everything as a part of wholeness from which we can learn, and we can ask ourselves, can we improve that? Can we bring something, some goodness to it? Can we actually influence it to function even better? As we are all part of life, we can all add something valuable to it to make it even better. So that's what happens once we start living our lives out of oneness and unity. We experience each person as our family member. And it means like we are all coming from the same source. Each of us is coming from the same source. And we see that divine energy is within everyone. It's hard to realize that from an analytical perspective, but deep inside our hearts, if we are guided by love, we always recognize that. We always recognize that a divine potential is within everyone. And if we start looking people like maybe unexpressed divine potential, like there's a divine light within everyone, we are not judging them anymore. We are not comparing ourselves with them anymore. We see everything as a part of wholeness. And that's how we surrender ourselves to the universe, so we can be guided by that higher consciousness. And that's the fifth dimensional awareness. It can expand, it will expand. In that state we will become even more aware, and we will learn even more about it, because we still don't know much about it. Even when we experience it, there's still much to learn, because one is to just feel it, and another one is to gain the wisdom from it. So also the analytical mind can explain what is happening. Once analytical mind can explain what is happening, we can teach it. We can express it. We can talk about it. And it's important, because that's the moment when we start rewiring our brain to adapt to that fifth dimensional consciousness, and to spread even more information about that among the people. And there's a power in teaching, because once we know something, once we understand something, if we can explain it, we understand it even more, and our understanding will expand even more. So we will be able to simplify the complex information, and it's important to know how to simplify things. So what can you do right now? Be more joyful. Sing or dance in joy for a few minutes in a day to uplift your spirit. Then, before you eat food, before you drink water, for example, bless it with your intentions, because there's a power in your intentions, a truly strong power. Even science is showing that when you put certain intention into water, the molecules in the water will change its forms, because they will adapt to that new energy. And if energy is uplifted, the molecules in the water will go into that more coherent state. So once you drink it, you drink that blessed water, that greater, more coherent energy. And our bodies are made out of 70% out of water. So if we send some good intentions, our bodies will automatically go into that more coherent state. That's beautiful. Then you sound consciously. There's a lot of music, a lot of information out there which is disrupting our states, pulling us down, falling back into fear and anger. So you sound consciously. When you're listening to music, make sure that it is bringing you peace, that it is bringing you joy, that it is putting you into that beautiful coherent state. If not, rather do not listen anything and go outside and listen some birds or a stream of water. It is always healing sound. And the most important thing, journal how those changes makes you feel. How those changes make you feel, because it's important to recognize the changes. You will see as you're shifting your awareness onto that greater level of beingness. Changes are happening. We feel lighter. We feel more alive. And if we recognize at which parts of our days we've fallen back to our old selves, we can see, okay, that's where I got unconscious about what I'm doing. Tomorrow I will be more aware of that area of my life, or that area of my day, or those habits. And journal it. Journal your life, because you will see how powerful it can be. So enjoy today's full moon, meditate on that, and reflect your life a little bit. What are still the reasons that are pulling you back, that are holding you down? And what are the real hard desires that are actually guiding you towards a greater you, more evolved you, and follow them. Surrender to that internal state of love. and follow your heart. So this is it for today, my friends. I'm sending you all love, blessings, and lots of power. Have a beautiful day, and I hope you've enjoyed today's painting, The Heart Coherence. It's an old painting, maybe you've saw it before, but it's still vibrating in that beautiful energy of joy and love as I've printed it into it. So you can find more about my art on my Instagram page, I Draw My Passion. See you there, my friends. Until next time, one love.